I want to share with you a story about a client who came to me, and she was having a lot of difficulties with her daughter. And she said, for the life of me, I can't understand why we're having these challenges, why we're having these breakdowns. I feel I've been a really good mom. I can't understand why she's being like this towards me, and all of these things that she was experiencing. And I said, okay, so straight away, as soon as someone comes to me and there's a mother-daughter issue, I know that I need to have a look at what's happening with the women behind the mother, which was my client. So straight away, I set up my client in a family constellation with her mother, and then her mother's mother behind her. And it was clear to see straight away that my client was having difficulties looking at her mother. And it seemed to be that there was some kind of dysfunction there, and some hurt, and even some anger. And then when I turned the client's mother around to face her mother, her mother wasn't able to look at her. So I knew something has gone on here that's disrupted the flow of love down through the women. Okay, something was happening that was playing out with my client and her daughter, that was happening back with the women in the ancestry. And it soon became evident that so my client's great-grandmother, there was something that had happened there. And she couldn't look at the women coming down from her. So she couldn't look at her daughter, her granddaughter, great-granddaughter, etc. So we had to see what was happening there. And often when there's been some kind of atrocity or disruption in the family system, then the ones that have come before us aren't able to look down the generations, because they're looking at some kind of death or some kind of atrocity or something that's happened here. So we had to go back and do some healing around this great-grandmother and what had happened there. So we did a piece of work there. And once that healing had happened with the great-grandmother, she was able to then look at her daughter, which was my client's grandmother. And the whole system just straightened up. You know, all down the line, we could see as soon as that healing took place, there was shifts with all the women coming down. And I could feel this wave of love coming through the women, and they were all able to start looking at each other. There was a lot of tears, you know, any of this disconnection or battle that had happened, that was happening. What had happened with the great-grandmother was something with her mother. There was an atrocity that had happened there that had really disrupted the flow of love for these women. So once we went back and healed that, all the other women were able to look at each other. The great-grandmother was really upset with her mother and what had happened in this situation. So that was the healing that needed to happen there, because there was a bit of a battle there, and then there was a loss. So once we did some healing around that with the ancestor, and my client could observe that and be part of that, and could see then and could feel within herself the whole system, the whole line of women starting to open up, to allow each other in, to be able to look at each other. My client could then turn to her daughter, and the daughter could then turn to her, and they could see each other with love, rather than this opposition, this battle, which they were entangled with back here with the grandmother. So often we need to look on a soul level. We're so connected with what's come before us. We're not a solo person. We're being born into a family system, and these patterns come down the line until someone heals them. And the Unlock Your Love Blocks work is about going back. A lot of it can be about going back and seeing where it started, okay? Because often it didn't start with you. There's something that's going back in the system. And often this either solves the issue or opens a door and makes a big shift to be able to keep working to solve the issue. So it was such a relief for her, and my client could actually see her daughter from a different perspective. she could start to see why her daughter was feeling like she was towards her, so she could actually self-reflect and see herself from a different perspective with the relationship with her daughter, and look at her daughter more with loving eyes and understanding eyes. And then the daughter could relax and open her heart and not be so defensive with her, so a healing could take place. And it probably took about a good 6 months before that actually happened within their relationship, but it took the shift in my client first to soften and to not be so combative with her daughter, and that is because the healing happened behind her. So we do a lot of feminine healing in Key 2 in the Unlock Your Love Blocks program. We actually do go through each chakra and look at the different love blocks and the different themes within each chakra through the whole Unlock Your Love Blocks program, where we go deep into soul. We do a lot of heart and mind stuff as well, but then we go in on a soul level. So if you would like to go through that, it's not just for our relationships, it's for our important relationships, whether that's our family, our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with our friendships. We go through everything. So if that's something that interests you, then look at my Unlock Your Love Blocks program. If you'd like to just do the maternal feminine stuff, then look at Key 2 in the Unlock Your Love Blocks program, and I'd love to guide you through that healing.